Today we're going to be learning how to use the Open Movie Database API, the OMDb API. I'm going to show you how to use its API and how we're going to get data from it, and then create a small little website with an input and a search box and just append it on the screen with whatever we want. We'll look for movies by its title, and we'll get that to append on the website. So in order to use this API, you have to get an API key. And since this is just for a tutorial and something that I used in school, I went ahead and got an API key that was free, and that just gives me 1,000 search limits a day. Whereas if I wanted to do this Patreon, then maybe that's something that I would want to use in production. But for this purpose, I went ahead and I just got an API key, the free one, and it does take sometimes up to an hour, so I did that before this video. And because I don't want to expose it anywhere, I don't want to expose it in this video or on GitHub, then I went ahead and put it in my local storage. Normally, I would be putting it in some sort of environment variable like an env file, but because everything that we're doing is going to be browser-based, I'm not going to run a server or anything. The easiest way for me to kind of hide that key was just putting it in my local storage and then holding it in a variable here. So I'll show you how we make an API call, and it is going to be a very basic fetch request because we're just doing a get, nothing fancy. So I went to these docs here, and it's going to show you how to just do a basic fetch request, just a basic HTTP request, and then, copy pasta. I'm just going to copy it in here and show you how that works, how we're going to get data. So let's see, we're going to go back to the main docs and go down to how it's used. So all data requests, this is where we're going to want to make our URL fetch request to. So I'll go ahead and just get rid of this example. And normally, you would delete that with its brackets and you just put your key in there. But because I have mine over here as API key, I'm just going to go ahead and template this so that I can put my API key in there, just like that. And then the parameters. So I think for me, the easiest way to do that would be searching for its title. So we'll just use this parameter T, movie title, to search for, and then you can see in the examples it'll show you how you'd make that call. So I don't watch a lot of movies, and the movies that I love apparently have terrible ratings, like Rotten Tomato of 9%. But yeah, so Colonia is my favorite movie, but it's showing here the parameter is going to be T equals and then the movie. So we'll just hard code just to see that this works. We'll go ahead and we'll just hard code this in, and then we'll change that up later. Going back to this fetch call, it will explain here what it's doing. So we're only using one argument here, which is calling this URL, and it says that this response here on line 4 returns a promise that resolves a response object. So if I were to run that and I would console log response, it would literally just say promise on it. So for us to be able to extract that data, and I can show you an example of this too, but to pull out the data, we're going to use this JSON method here. So it says to extract the JSON body content from that response object that we got from line 4. On line 5 here, we're going to extract it with this response.json method, and we're going to hold that in a variable called JSON data. So I can show you that right about here. Let me just title that response. This here is just going to show you the response object, whereas here it's going to show you the JSON data. Okay, and I went ahead and created this index.html file, and I've connected that JavaScript file to this. So go ahead to this site. Let's just go ahead and just immediately call this function. And we can see, so because I've tied this JSON file to this HTML, when I refresh it and it renders, it's going to call this JSON file, or this JavaScript file, and it's going to automatically run my function because I've called it here. So we can see that I've console logged on line 5, the response object. So yeah, you can see it's just a readable stream. It doesn't actually give us any of the data that we want. And then here on line 7, where we're using that JSON method, it's going to extract it and it's going to put it in that JSON format for us. So this is the data that we're looking for. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is create a input and a search button and get this to show up on our web page. How do you actually use this? And we're just going to use pure JavaScript. We're not going to use React or any sort of framework. We're taking it back. Okay, so in the body, we'll go ahead and let's just Google this, how to do like an input in HTML. Let's just go down to, let's see, type. We're gonna want, okay, we're gonna copy this input type equals search, because we want to search for our movie. And then, yeah, you can see here we've got our search box, and then we're gonna want to have a button. So let's search for button HTML. And yeah, we'll just put that in there. Oh, wait, that didn't copy. Put that in there, and we'll just put search instead. Let's see what that looks like. Easy. Okay. We're still getting these calls, so let me just get rid of that. We'll probably want that later, so I'll just console log that out. Okay, so that we want to do is do an onclick here on the button and have that call our log JSON DNA. But maybe we'll just rename that to fetch movie data. That feels a little bit better. Fetch movie data. Okay, so we're gonna link that here to this search button, and I will Google how to do that. We'll do onclick HTML. So I can see that we're gonna just put that in here. Onclick equals, and then the function name, which is fetch movie data. Okay. I like to just test that everything is working. So I'll just do a quick alert like this works, just to make sure that that is tied together properly. Let me refresh that. Okay. Wait, why is that? Because we're immediately calling that. We don't want that. Let's refresh this, and then once we hit this, now it should alert this works. Okay. See, little things like that that even I miss. Also, it's like 10 o'clock at night, so bound to happen. But if I do these console logs and these steps every single part of the way, it makes it so much easier to debug. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bring that back. We'll keep that still logged, commented out. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do is get it to append here on this page. So I'm gonna just give it, we're gonna want it to be right below it. There's no design here. I'm just strictly showing how to get it to append. And the way that we're gonna do that is we're gonna use this innerHTML. Now it's gonna be completely different if you're using a different framework like Vue or React, but this is, again, just a pure JavaScript. We're taking it, you know, to the basics, and yeah, so okay, so if I scroll down just to kind of look at how it appending HTML to an element, so we're going to append it to that p tag. Here we can see, yeah, in our HTML, well, we just have an empty p tag. But you can see here that we're going to do this get element by ID. And let's give it an ID. We'll just call this, we'll just do this one as title. We'll do a couple. We'll get out like the title and the genre, maybe like a description or the plot of the movie. Okay, so we're gonna, yeah, we have this here as the ID is title, and here in the JavaScript, I'm gonna just copy that and do get element by ID, and then right underneath it, we'll do title dot inner HTML, and we don't want to append. We don't, this add, this plus equals is going to just keep appending it, but we don't want that. We just want to add to it. We just want to add the JSON data, but we don't want all of the JSON data. So I'm actually going to just comment that out really quick, and we're going to look at how we grab this data. So click that button, and let's say we want, we're going to want the title. So to get that title, we're going to use dot notation. So it's going to be JSON dot title. And let me show you that again. Yep, Colonia. And then let's just remember that we're going to want plot. And then I'm using Shift Option down to get that to just copy. I'm on a Mac. It's just a nice little shortcut. Then we can just do like actors. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure that we did that properly. We've got the title. Well, they all say title, but the plot and then the actors. So yeah, so let's just comment. Let's just comment all of that out. And let's refresh that. Okay, so here we're gonna do title. Title is JSON data dot title. Okay, now when we refresh, okay, that didn't work. Actually, it's not add, it's equal. Now if we refresh and we hit search, that title, Colonia, should show up on that p tag. And when we hit search, it should not append it. And what I was mixing up is this plus equals that is going to keep appending it. And that's what we don't need, is the plus. So just wanted to render one time. Okay, and so we can do the same thing for the plot and the actors. And it's just, I'm going to do my Shift Option down again to do two more. We're going to change this one to be the plot. We'll just name that plot. And then we'll name this one actors. And then, you know, I'm going to just make this an H1 instead. Okay. So, copying again. Careful when you copy, but okay, let's do this one. Plot is get element by ID of plot, and here we're gonna do JSON data plot. Let's test that out. Whoa. Okay. Sorry. See what I mean? Careful when you copy. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't change that one there. Let's just let's not copy this time. Let's do this again. So we'll do const actors equals document dot get element by ID. And remember, we gave that ID name of actors. And then actors.innerHTML equals JSON data.actors. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of all that for now. Okay, yep, that's how we had it. Okay, we'll refresh, search, and there we go. Okay, if we wanted to add, let's say we wanted to add like title in front of here or plot in front of here, we wouldn't do it in the HTML. We would do it here. And the way it shows you that is by doing this, you have to put the tags in there of what it is that you want. So we would just do equals. Let's just get rid of that for now. Let's just say we want it in a p tag. Oh, let's put it in backticks. And we'll want to close that. And then we want it to say actors. And then our variable will be JSON data dot actors. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, doesn't really stand out. Maybe we want to do like an H2. Okay, that whole thing is in H2. Let's say we don't want that and we just want to wrap actors in H2 and this one to just be the P tag. There we go. Well, I'm gonna just revert that because I kind of like it. Just this simple way. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is get the input working. So now that we know that we've got our fetch call, right? We've got our search param, right? The API key is in there. We've got our title and our plot and our actors appended. Now we're going to do this dynamically. So we want to get this input search working. So we want to somehow get the value and then take that value and add it in here instead of hard coding it and writing in the movie that we want. So first thing that we need to do to get that going is getting this value. So let's go ahead and we'll just type in something like grabbing value from HTML. How do I get the value? Okay. Stack Overflow. Okay, this one, rules of searching Stack Overflow. Check how many people have clicked yes on this, and everybody seems to agree. 2,304 people agree that this is the way to go. So basic JavaScript, again, is getting the element by ID, which we've already done here, so you know how to do that. We're gonna just put in the input, we're gonna give it an ID. So easy way to, nope. What did I just do? Put that back here. Give it an ID. Don't know how I messed that up. Okay, an ID of search. Easy enough for me. So again, I'm going to copy this, and it's going to get the element by ID of search when I put that in there, but also dot value. So this is going to get the value of whatever we put in that inbox. So I'm just going to copy that. And we're going to put that up here because we need to get the value before we pass it in here. So let's go ahead and name this value and change this to search. All right, and let's just alert. Let's, again, wanting to check that this is working properly. I'm just going to alert the value name. So, sorry, whenever I type in a value, this part isn't going to work. So let me just comment all this out. It's going to, I don't know what it's going to do, blow up. Okay, so refresh Colonia. When I hit search, it should alert me Colonia. Perfect. When I delete it and I type in something else, Harry Potter. Okay, so we know that we are getting the value properly. So let's just uncomment that out. And we're going to put this value in here. So let's get rid of Colonia and then put in value. So whatever we search for should search for its title here. We know everything else is working properly. So if this doesn't work, well, okay, let's refresh and let's search Harry Potter. Harry Potter. There we go. Another one of my favorite movies. I'm not ashamed to say it. Colonia. I don't know a lot of movies. Hunger Games. Oh, you know what movie I want to see is Barbie. That doesn't look like the new Barbie, but I'm at the mercy of the API. So, okay, so there it is. That's how you connect to the OMDb API. I hope that was helpful. Reach out if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Just want to say hi. Thank you, and I will see you guys soon.